Well, hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Taurus. If Taurus is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. So we have the 5 of Cups, which, yes, it is related to a bit of disappointment, right? But that doesn't mean that this is something that's going to be happening. It could have already happened. It could be about somebody else who is close to you. But we're going to look. We're going to look at the tea leaves. We're going to see what's going on, all right? And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Okay, so we have what looks like, it looks like the Hermit to me. An older masculine person. You can see the body right here. This would be kind of like the shirt area. Okay, and going up into here, and this would be the head. You can see there's a large beard. It looks kind of like it would be white, obviously, maybe gray. We have the mouth. It almost looks like an eye patch, but it could just be like kind of shadowing the top of the head. And over here we have the arm and holding what looks like a bird. Oops. Yeah, it looks like we have a bird. Maybe like a chick, a young chicken. We also have the number right here, 837. Okay, so 837. Over here we have, it looks like a mermaid, merman, whichever, or I'm trying to look at the top there. It looks like it says CT right here. CT, maybe an A, maybe an O. So let's look and see. And we also have a face right here. Look at this face. Eyes, nose, kind of like almost a frowny, but then next to it, eyes, nose, smile. Okay, so I do feel like there has been maybe something that didn't go your way, right? And I feel like you're kind of vacillating between feeling maybe pretty let down about it, but also really working on not letting things ruin the vibe, right? Whatever thing has happened, it feels like it's fairly minor, right? This isn't like one of the core things of your life, right? Like you were gonna get married and they didn't show up on the wedding day. No, it's nothing like that, right? I think this is kind of more of a minor thing, maybe an inconvenience. And maybe it's something that you were looking forward to, maybe something that was, a little bit emotional. But I do feel like you're at this point in your life where you're really thinking about not letting things throw you into a funk, right? Not letting things destroy all of the other happiness, the joy, the opportunity for joy, right? And I myself am very guilty of this. And I don't know if it's a Virgo or if I'm just somebody who, I'm also very sensitive about things. Everything could be going right, and then like one little thing doesn't happen, or, I forgot this, I'm thinking about, I had my daughter's birthday party some months ago, right? Spent not a ton of time putting it together. I will admit I did kind of wait till the last minute for the amount of people that we had. But I had a few weeks to get this thing together. And everything went pretty well. Everything was pretty dang good. And then I forgot the cake plates, right? I had plenty of the other plates, but not the little ones. And I felt like everything was a disaster. But I had to grab myself, right? And say, Lenor, come on. They can use the big plates. It's not the end of the world. Is anybody going to remember that there were not cake plates? Probably not. Well, now you might. But yeah, it's kind of like that vibe. I think it's, you know, and I think that you're sitting with it. You're thinking about like, hey, is this how I'm going to live my life? Right? And that's what the older man hermit really indicates to me. Because I do think of the hermit as not just somebody who has decided to kind of separate themselves from the tribe, from the collective, because ultimately they're not, right? They're just as much involved with the greater whole than anybody else. But what it does symbolize for me when I see the hermit is this need, this necessity to go into self, right? To start doing some of that interior work. To look at your life and think, you know, most things are pretty dang good. Most things, you know, I'm feeling like I'm pretty grateful for. But then there are just certain things. And yeah, it's almost always something about ourselves, right? How we cope, how we react. You know, do we stuff our feelings down, or do we just let them rule us? Or, you know, and trying to temper these things, trying to figure out how can I find the middle way? Where is that balance, right? And being brave enough to kind of admit to yourself, like, hey, this maybe is something that I need to look at. This is maybe something I need to work on, right? And I feel like for you, yeah, it is. It's about not letting the disappointment consume you, Taurus. Because we know you're a Taurus. You're going to do great. And I say that as a mom, as a cheerleader, and, you know, as like, think about this in a friend energy. You're going to do great. I've never met a Taurus that was not exceptional in some capacity, right? Now, if it's like you're really good at embroidering, maybe you're really good at doing taxes, maybe you're a, like, you know, A1 friend, parent. Maybe you're really good at parallel parking. I don't know, you know, something. But you have to remind yourself when you stumble, when you fail, when something doesn't go your way, there's so many other things that you're so good at, right? And it's easy to dig in, especially if you're getting criticism. And here's the other thing I know about Taurus people is mostly you don't give two hoots about what people think. But when you're in a vulnerable place and you're already down on yourself and people pile on, that can really send you into a spiral. So I'm looking at this and I'm also seeing that we have, not only does it look like a mer person, but it looks like the moon, which makes sense, the wateriness and all of this. So I do really feel like this is a symbol that means two really important things. One, the siren, right? And we know that this is like the mermaid that sings beautiful songs, and the sailor hears that beautiful song and they turn towards the voice and they steer the ship that way, and you know, next thing they know they're going into a cliff or like a shallows or whatever, right, to their doom. So it's a little bit of a warning, right? And what is the warning? Yeah, sometimes we have to like plug our ears. We have to stop with the negative talk, the negative self-talk. If somebody's being critical of us, paying it no mind. Okay? Now, on the other side, the mermaid is the explorer of the great unknown, those vast oceans of the unconscious. This is a being that has access to those deep fragments of inspiration, right? If you could think about when you're trying to, well, I don't know, maybe you're trying to think about how are you going to decorate for Halloween, right? And you kind of close your eyes and you think, oh, you know what sounds really scary? I don't know. I don't know. Whatever, right? I'm zombie themed. My daughter's really into zombies right now. So, so you're going into those deep parts of your psyche to pull out the inspiration to put together this really cool display, right? Well, we can think of this symbol as being that driving force, right? That motivation to get you into that creative state of mind. Okay. So we have this. We also have the hermit, who is the contemplator. Okay. So I can feel that there's a lot of, thinking going on, but I also feel like there's a real sense of wanting things to change. And I feel like it really is about like opening yourself up. Because whatever has been going on, right? I don't feel like it's necessarily too bad. There's not a ton of, crisis-like things happening in your life, which great. Okay, that's a wonderful thing. But if you're like me, right? I kind of really excel when there's a lot of stuff to do. A lot of, even problems, right? I can freeze. I'm going to admit that. But once I get moving and problem solving, I'm pretty good in a crisis. When I start to have problems is when I have no direction, or I don't know what I should be doing, or, things kind of settle down and all the chores are done, and, the wheels in my head start spinning, and you have a little bit of downtime, and you go from contemplating to rumination, right? Real quick. So I feel like this is a place where not only doing that interior work, but also finding something to put some of these energies into, taking on some kind of project, taking on maybe a new hobby. Maybe there is something around the house that needs to be fixed. I am a huge advocate of the ever learner. Okay. And what does that mean? Yeah, we should all be students throughout our life, right? And now that doesn't have to be formal, but when I am in a place in my life where I feel like I suck, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I never finished college. I've made a lot of bad mistakes in my life, by the grace of the divine, I somehow found myself in recovery, and slowly dug myself out of my previous life. But does that mean everything is perfect? No. And sometimes I do. I find myself feeling pretty down, pretty bad about myself, pretty self-conscious, pretty angry, whatever it is, right? And in these moments, I know this is one of my coping mechanisms. I know that if I go and learn something, especially if it's something tactile or it's something that I can use in a functional way, right? I'm not thinking about, the bad things anymore. I'm thinking about, let me go on YouTube and find a thing where I can figure out how to, you know, clean the drain, right? Or, oh, there's a little chip in the grout. Maybe I can get on the YouTubes or whatever and find a how-to video, and I'll learn how to fix this. I'll learn how to clean this. I'll learn how to, you know, I don't know, learn a new language all in one day, one sitting, you know, whatever it is. But I think that education, and it can be practical, right? It doesn't have to be all academia and higher learning, although, hey, you know, if you have that access, go for it. And you know what's interesting? A lot of colleges, even like Ivy League schools, they have free courses. You can take courses for free. And you should just go look at their websites. I mean, there's all kinds of really neat opportunities to study whatever, right? Whatever you can imagine, you can find it. And this is so empowering in my mind, especially, and I'm somebody who, you know, I went out into the world. I didn't really know what the heck I was doing about anything. I had to teach myself how to clean well, how to cook, you know, how to, pay my taxes and you know, all the things basically. And I think a lot of us are like that, right? You know, even if you've had really great family and parents that teach you a lot, there's things that we can still learn. So, you know, I think that it's a really important thing to get into the state of mind that I am forever a student of life. I am forever somebody who can be learning something new. And especially when I look around, maybe I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or maybe there are circumstances within my life that make me feel like I don't have any control over anything, you know, we start learning. We start doing things. You get active, you get productive, okay? And you will start to find that thing within yourself that you can hold on to and know, like, I'm a capable person. You know, I know it sounds silly, but I challenge you. I challenge you. Next time you're feeling a little bit down, or you're feeling like you don't know what to do, or whatever, go look on like WikiHow or on YouTube or whatever. I can't remember the other ones, but those like how to. Quora, I think, you know, it has a lot of. Be careful on there, because there's some really you know, questionable advice on that site sometimes. But yeah, go out and do it. Go out and do something. Go watch a episode of This Old House, right? Bob Vila, that guy has gotten me through some real stretches of depression, I'll tell you what. All right, so let's look over here. We have, it looks like it just says B, B-E, B. That makes sense to me, just kind of being, right? Okay, so we have infinity. We also have a cat. We have a person next to a cross. I almost feel like this is a mother figure. The infinity is like if you don't know the symbol, it's like the figure 8, like an 8, but it's on its side, right? And it goes on and on. It looks like a race car track a little bit. And it is a thing that you see in like jewelry a lot. And I'm thinking, I keep seeing like an infinity necklace. And I almost wonder if this is something that you gave to your mother, or it's something your mother wore a lot. And I feel like, I don't know that that she has transitioned yet, but I feel like there is kind of almost a feeling of being close to, and it's, I hate to say it this way, but I almost kind of think like either they've had a lot of people passing in their life. Maybe they work even in like the medical field or maybe like the funeral industry, dealing with, you know, the things that come after somebody transitions, something. But it just feels almost like they've been around a lot of transition in their life. A lot of people passing over, and kind of almost feels like they live very close to that in-between place, right? And at first I was thinking, well, maybe they're in bad health, but I almost kind of think that this is somebody who is not afraid of transition. This is somebody who has a strong faith. This is somebody who has seen all kinds of things in their life, right? And they feel solid in the fact that like, this is not the end, right? We've all met people like this that are not afraid to go. You know, I don't think that it's something that they're like wishing for, but I think that they're okay, right? And especially in older people, I think you see this more and more, right? Because they've seen a lot of people go before them. And I think that sometimes you might find this almost a little bit morbid, or maybe, you know, it kind of tugs on your heartstrings a little bit. But I think that this is something that you also find very powerful about this person. And I think that it also kind of created an environment for you where maybe you're not as afraid either. But of course there's the connection with them, and it, you know, and it makes it hard to even imagine what would life be like without them. And all of that makes sense. But I do feel like this is an aspect of your connection to them that maybe you could learn a little bit from them. And I don't know that like you really have the anxiety, but I think like, I almost think like it's not even that, it's not that they're stoic necessarily, but there is a kind of a wisdom. It's like a wisdom, a worldliness, right? And I feel like you're very drawn to that. And if you know it or not, you contain the same energy, right? People who probably would describe you would say that you also share this quality. Now, it might not be about the process of transition, right? And that is passing over. It might be about other things, but you have the same qualities. Okay, the wisdom, the knowing. I feel like people come to you and there's immediate trust. Like, you know what you're talking about, you know? And yeah. And I think that's something that people have told you. You're like your mother. You're very much like your mother. In a nice way, right? Not in a very nice way. Okay, so now we also have the letters L-A. L-A. Almost kind of looks like L-A-O, but it might be L-A, just L-A. Okay, now we're going to do our lucky numbers. Lucky numbers. 3 of them. Number 17, 17, 38, 17, 38, 22, 17, 38, 22 for our lucky numbers today. Now, we're also going to do our inner child oracle cards, okay? And I'm just going to flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. Number 14, flow with the rhythm. Get lost in the rhythm of movement today. Get lost in the rhythm of movement today. All right. Okay, well, Taurus, I'm going to tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. And with that, I will say, I love you. Good night, good night, good night.